Hey everybody, we need to talk, we need to chat. You see, for say about a week or more now, I've listened to nothing else on YouTube but the drone drama in the United States and elsewhere. I promise you, I listened while painting my lounge, I listened while hanging curtains, I listened while taking the dog out. I listened to News Nation, GB News, Fox News, and many private creators and citizens' stories about their experiences and sightings. Now, the number one conclusion I think I came to after listening to it all, listening to different opinions, etc., is that these things in the sky are not all the same. Some are large, some are small, some are multicolored, some are metallic and some are red, some have multicolored and flickering lights, and some have white lights, some have 3 visible lights, and others have lots of lights and look like a floating Christmas tree, and others appear to be completely dark, or maybe they went dark before they were photographed. I don't know. I enlarged and cleared one still taken from a video, and that one in particular looks 98% like the drones used by the United States Coast Guard. The drones used by the United States Coast Guard is almost in an aeroplane shape, more than the traditional drone. It is white and red with lights under the 2 wings and a smaller flickering one on the tail end. These drones are also mostly white with a broad red stripe. I did my best to clean up the photograph and then did a reverse image search, and that is how I found the drones used by the United States Coast Guard. Particularly when a video has sound, one can fairly easily distinguish between a plane and some of these lights. Now, my brother had 2 drones, a bigger, smarter one and a small, cheap hobby thing. At the time, he was taking photographs for estate agents and advertising, etc., using his drones. I know he had some financial woes at one point and sold one, and that is where my knowledge of drones began and ended. So I had to take a crash course online before I could even make this video. What interested me most was to know how big the biggest drones in the world are, how far they could go and for how long. The 2 biggest drone types, or then unmanned planes, or whatever you wish to call them, are the Winglong 10 made in China, or the Chengdu JG2, also from China. The Winglong 10 is capable of carrying a swarm of small to medium-sized drones in its belly, and can also carry all kinds of stuff like bombs and warheads, ammunition, basically anything you can think of and dream up. It basically looks like a jet without windows and has a wingspan of about 25 meters. The Winglong, or the Chengdu, come in various capabilities and fitted for different purposes, like the CH-9 and so on and so on. The difference between the Chinese Winglong and the Chinese Chengdu is that the Winglong CH-9 can fly about 11,500 kilometers and can take off with a load of about 5,000 kilograms, and it can fly for about 40 hours, whereas the Chengdu JG2 is obviously smaller and can only carry a load of 480 kilograms. But like my brother said, that means nothing, because only a cup of plastic explosives can wipe out a city block. Anyway, the Chinese sold Chengdus to Egypt and Pakistan. So far, it's not known that they've sold any Wing Lung 10s to anybody. In America, as far as we know, the biggest drones are the Air Truck and the Spray Hawk and the Xenodrone 1000. The Xenodrone 1000 octocopter is about 2 by 3 meters in size and also comes with various capabilities and fit for various purposes. The plain, simple Xenodrone costs between $10,000 and $14,000, but obviously the price increases along with the technology. A Xenodrone octocopter with AI and machine learning software, what they call an intelligent UAV, starts at about $57,000. The Xenodrone has about 60 minutes of airtime with automatic charging abilities, whatever that may mean. When used in agriculture, it can carry up to 110 liters of crop spray. Now, I have no idea how much that would weigh. Anyway, we know that normal drones, the ones we, the public, can buy anywhere, can only stay in the air for about 20 to 30 minutes. I'm told that I should not be fooled by what I read on the various websites, but instead I could use rule of thumb, and I'm told that United States and Germany, yes, I'm told the Xenodrone was designed and originally built by a German, anyway, but that they have tremendously upgraded their drone capabilities and that military fixed wing drones can now stay in the air for 12 to maybe 48 hours, depending on the size and the capabilities. Rotary wing drones can so far only stay up in the sky for 1, maximum 2 hours, depending on the size, the use, and their capabilities. Okay, now I'm not saying everything I just said is 101% accurate, because what I know about this kind of tech is little to nothing. I basically looked all of this up on the internet, and I spoke to my brother and a friend who knows a little more than I do. So what I'm giving you is basically what I found on the internet and my interpretation thereof, and what I can remember from our conversations, okay? So for me, the biggest thing I took from this is what these things look like and how it compares to what I have seen in videos and stills. I'm putting pictures on the screen for you again. Have a look and try to keep the differences in mind as we carry on. Now, as I played with some of the photographs and videos, I understand 100% why people are saying that some confuse ordinary aeroplanes and helicopters for drones or UAPs, because they do. There are a couple of pictures in particular which, when I enlarged and lightened it only a little, I could immediately see it was a smallish helicopter. Another I could clearly see was an aeroplane. Others, looking at the shape and light formation, are clearly drones. Maybe a Xenodrone of sorts, and one, I'm nearly sure, was a US Coast Guard drone. But there are things that I cannot recognize unless I go into full-on tinfoil hat mode. You see, if you take some of these stills and enlarge them slightly or zoom in on the object slightly and then keep lightening your picture until the object shows itself, because it will, the object is denser than the air, so it does show up darker than the surrounding night sky. You can go and try that for yourself. But just be careful to take it too far, because then the object starts blending into the background again. So do it little by little. But what I've seen so far using this method is this. What looked like 3 smallish drones flying in a triangular formation was actually a triangular object or craft. Another, which looked like a bright light, or it went from a bright light or orb, as many call it, to an almost amorphous shape. Hard to describe, almost like when you hold up a fertilized egg to the light so you can see the developing chicken and veins. That's what this thing reminds me of. I think that is likely the best description I can come up with, except that it is more round than oval. There was another which looked to me like a boomerang. Now, this one I cannot absolutely guarantee is indeed correct, because it may just be that it is triangular, but because of the quality of the picture, it may be triangular in reality, okay? But there you go. The conclusion being that there are more planes, more helicopters, more drones in the air than usual, but there are also more UAPs, or in my old-fashioned vocabulary, more UFOs, more unidentified flying objects in the sky than usual. So what the heck does all of this mean? Well, I saw a couple of videos last night where it actually looks like the drones or crafts are shooting at each other. And in one video, it actually looks like one was shot and fell to the ground in a ball of flames. There was another video in which it looked like the one object was spraying something. And although I obviously cannot vouch for any of these images, I have to think that maybe 1 or 2 people can be liars or playing the fool, but I cannot believe that 10, 200 or 1,000 or thousands would do so. Something bizarre is indeed happening, and I really do not care what the final explanation from the government is going to be. There is very little chance I will believe them 100%. And here's why. When the story broke and it took off like wildfire, the Pentagon and National Security Services allegedly did not know anything. Absolutely nothing. And that, not the drones or the UAPs, set off the little bit of panic and worry, or then the alarm bells. How can those whom you trust to protect you, whom you actually pay to protect you, not do so? I fully understand how the various mayors and the public must feel. So, what do I think? What do I really, really think? Well, I really think we have at least 3 role players here. I think maybe the Chinese, and I'm only saying the Chinese because they appear to be the only ones who can possibly or allegedly, according to a number of websites, send drones into another country from international waters. They appear to be the only ones who have the full set of technology to do so. Drones that can travel more than 10,000 kilometers per flight, which are big enough to be mistaken for planes and which can fly at higher altitudes. For instance, hobby drones and commercial drones are not even allowed to fly higher than 400 meters. But military drones can and do sometimes go as high as 50,000 feet, maybe even a little more. Commercial passenger planes typically flies at between 30 and 40,000 feet. So, although it could very well be someone else, it is my opinion that it could be the Chinese, because so far no one could determine where the so-called drones came from or where they landed. So, with their capabilities, the Chinese could very well be somewhere in international waters, miles off the coast, laughing at us. Then I think the second player is the American Armed Forces. I think the American Army, Air Force, and Coast Guard are all keeping an eye out and an eye on those drones, hence the increased air traffic. I think that is why we may have seen something that looked like a drone was shot down, because I think it was. I think the United States forces shot one out of the sky in order to retrieve and study it. But then it exploded and caught fire and fell to the ground in that ball of fire. But in my very humble opinion, I think that is not all. I think there is a third party. I think there is a third party in the skies, and I have no idea who or what those things are. They do not maneuver like drones, nor do they move like aeroplanes or helicopters, and those are the things which on the one hand worry me the least, but on the other hand worries me the most. You see, I do not think any good could come from Chinese or any other country doing surveillance or flying over another country's airspace without permission. It does not exactly show good intention, does it? However, although I'm hearing a lot of things like these crafts are observing or these crafts are intervening to prevent World War III and a number of other things, I would rather not speculate about where they are from or what their purpose or intentions are. But as much as I feel that this third player means the human race no real harm, I think it's also natural to be a little nervous and scared of the unknown. Okay, friends, I'll be catching up on the latest on the drones, planes, and UFOs later today or tonight. It's still early, and that's why I'm battling to talk. I normally have hay fever in the morning, but it goes away around about 10, 11 o'clock. Okay, so I will be back when I feel the time is right or I have something more to say. Then I'll definitely hop back on. So until then, stay safe and take good care of yourselves. Bye.